Hello everyone, and welcome to our professional presentation course. My name is Dr. Telleria, and this is our week 1 presentation. So for this week's presentation, the topic is finding your mission in life. Now, the first half of the presentation I will devote to the things that we need to do for this first week. So we'll go over the assignments that you need to turn in by Sunday. And then the second part of the presentation will be a little discussion about finding your mission in life and perhaps offer a strategy to find your mission in life. Okay, so for this week, you have to prepare a personal mission statement. This is due by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Review the posted videos. You are to do an internet search or find a book or an article for ideas on how to develop your own personal mission statement. There's plenty of links and resources on the web that will help you to develop your personal mission statement. Remember to type directly into the journal. Do not attach a file. Okay. Also write in first person. Describe what resources you selected to help create the structure of your mission statement, and then explore your missions, actions, roles to help you frame your thoughts for the future. So this is your personal mission statement, again, due by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Then we have our multimedia discussion board. And for this one, has several steps. The first step is due Saturday, and you are to develop a PowerPoint presentation, which should include a brief introduction of yourself, a public administration job that you may want to explore in the future, and based on your research, what types of resumes are typical in your field. And you can ask people in the field or conduct internet searches to obtain this information. This presentation should be short, about 3 to 4 minutes, but it should have a minimum of 3 slides. So you are to have a title slide, the content slide, at least one, and a closing slide. Step 2 is creating an online presentation. So once you have created the PowerPoint, you are to narrate the presentation using the PowerPoint as your guide. So you create a presentation with the slides and you narrate the audio. Okay, slides should be graphic heavy with little or no text. Okay, so what we want here is we want to hear you speak naturally and have fun with it. Okay, I don't want to hear reading. I want to hear you narrate and tell us a story. Okay, this is to try out the technology and to help you kind of get accustomed to talking through your material. Step 3 is hosting your presentation. So once you have created your PowerPoint and narrated your PowerPoint, you host your presentation. You host a presentation on a site like YouTube or Vimeo. Most of you, I'm sure, have been accustomed to this by now, but if you haven't, the way that you do it is you host your presentation, say, on YouTube. I do it on YouTube, and that houses all of my presentations. Once you create that, or once you upload it to YouTube, for example, in your own YouTube's site, you will embed the link of your finished product to the discussion board by Saturday night. Okay, and of course, be sure that you're posting the link to your presentation and not uploading the entire file to Blackboard. And then step 4, you are to respond by Sunday night to at least 2 other students with comments on their presentation. This doesn't have to be really in-depth responses, or you don't have to include empirical evidence or anything like that. Just words of encouragement and perhaps a comment or two if you liked their presentation, what you found creative or neat or interesting about it. Okay, and it's a time to see how everybody is presenting in this format. Okay, so have fun again and enjoy reading and viewing your peers' presentations. There's a lot of software out there that you can use to prepare your presentations, right? And you can use a whole different array of software. Okay, PowerPoint is perhaps the easiest one, and it works. If you do your PowerPoint, you upload it to using, for example, I use Prezi. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you use Prezi, you can record the PowerPoint in Prezi and then upload the Prezi file to YouTube, and then you upload that file to Blackboard. There's other options that you can use, and some of these I've included here. Screencast-O-Matic. This is recommended for Mac users. You can also use VoiceThread, Animaker, again Prezi, which is what I use and I like it very much, and then Camtasia. Okay, so try these out and see which one you feel most comfortable with. Okay, so the topic of this week is finding our mission in life. Okay, and it's hard. This is a question that is not an easy question, and it's one of those questions that people go through life trying to answer, right? What is my mission in life? How do I go about finding my mission in life? And again, many people, many of us go years and sometimes even our entire lives trying to find that answer to what is our mission in life, right? But perhaps there's ways that we can begin to think about this question in a more practical manner and maybe encapsulate it in a way that we can manage it and maybe come out with some, make some connections about that question. So one way to go about finding your mission in life is to create your own personal mission statement. Right? Just like firms have their mission statements, just like organizations have mission statements, well, we individuals can also prepare our own mission statements. So for example here, I prepared Dr. T's personal mission statement. And again, this is not my all-encompassing mission statement, but it's a mission statement nonetheless, and it's to add value to my students' lives by inspiring and motivating them to maximize their potential and abilities. So that's Dr. T's mission statement. Let's see if we can help you design and find your own mission statements. So there's 4 steps that we can take to create our own personal mission statement. The first step is to write down what is most important to you. The second step is to articulate your most important goals. And notice here, we're talking about your most important goals because we have many goals, right? Sometimes we set many goals for ourselves, but we have to articulate and identify and narrow down the most important ones. 3, talk to your peers. You will get a lot of insight and feedback and advice from talking to your peers. Talk to your parents, talk to a pastor, talk to a counselor, right? And 4, identify the legacy you want to leave, right? What do you want to leave this world, your kids, those that will come after you? What is that legacy that you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered? So let's look at these a little bit more in detail. So step 1, write down what is most important to you. You start by considering who you are and who you want to be, right? Ask yourself that question, who am I? Now that I'm finishing my career here at California Baptist, who am I? And who do I want to be? Am I the person I want to be, right? Ask yourself that question. Number two, write down what's most important to you and what you are most passionate about. And uh, are you on the path to achieving what's most important to you? And are you fulfilling those passions, right? And then three, consider what or who you most value and how your life is connected to those people or things, right? This is often, for the most part, for most of us, it's our children, our parents, our best friends, our spouses, right? But it could also be somebody else, a good friend or a mentor. Okay, so, but it's about who or what is most important and how they connect to our mission. Step two, you articulate your most important goals. Right? So reflect and write down your biggest and most important personal and professional goals. Right? Ask yourself, what is the best version of your life? What is the best version of me? Okay. And this includes relationships. It includes your achievements and your career. Right? So some questions that you might ask yourself: what qualities would you like others to attribute to you? You want people to think of you as selfish, or do you want people to think of you as noble, as giving, right? Where would you like to be in your career, right? Do you have a specific job title in mind? Have you reached a certain level? Sometimes we think that the goal is the job title or a particular office or a particular level, and maybe that is not the goal at all. Maybe the goal is to change people's lives, but perhaps we are thinking that we need to attain a certain title or a certain position to do that, when in fact we may be going about the wrong goal. Maybe that's not the goal. What would you like to achieve professionally? Right? Do I want to be a leader? Do I want to manage people? Do I want to influence politicians or influence public policy? Do I want to change lives of those in most need? What is it that you want to achieve? Again, sometimes we think that we need to achieve a position to achieve these goals. And at times we find out that it's actually the other way around, that by pursuing certain positions, we are getting farther and farther from our ability to achieve what we really want in life. What would you like to achieve personally or in your community, right? And then, of course, very important, what would you like to achieve spiritually? And this speaks to the relationship with God, right? With Christ. What is your goal as far as that relationship? Step three, talk to your peers, okay? Talk to your peers and mentors and ask what they consider to be your greatest strengths. Now, sometimes we don't see our greatest strengths for one reason or other. And it's important to talk to others because they might help us see those things, right? Think about what makes you exceptional compared to others who have similar skill sets. Consider how you want people to describe you. And you can even write down a few words that you want to come to someone's mind when they think of you, right? So you want, they say, when Harry comes into the room, he lights up the room. He's giving, he's caring, he inspires me to be better. He's an exceptional manager. He's an exceptional leader. All right, so these are words that one would like to have somebody associate with ourselves, right? So write down those words that you want others to think when they think of you. And then last step, step four, identify the legacy you want to leave, right? What mark do I want to leave on the world? How specifically would you like the world to be different when you leave it? And what do you hope to create change or maintain that will be lasting, right? Our time on earth is short, and we don't have much time to make permanent and lasting changes, but we can make them if we focus ourselves, our actions, our abilities towards those goals, right? Think about what mission or vision makes you feel motivated, right? Who do you want to support with your unique skills and abilities, and how? And often, motivation comes from our families, from our children, from our spouse, from our parents, from peers, and uh, perhaps other close friends, a pastor. But who is it that you really want to support with your skills and abilities? Okay, who is motivating you? Who is the motor, or what is that motor? It's usually somebody in our lives that drives us to be better, to do more, to pursue more. Those are important motors to identify in our lives. So, having gone through these 4 steps, we come to the question of what do you consider to be your purpose, right? Once we have kind of identified a personal mission statement, does that mission statement help us to identify or to begin to think about what God's purpose is for our lives, for our life? Okay? What is God's purpose for me? But perhaps more difficult, because we may not know what God's purpose is. Am I asking ourselves a question? Am I living God's purpose? Right? And how will I know? How do I know if I am? Right? And sometimes one way to think about, or one way that we can at least identify whether we are not on that path, is by looking at our lives and analyzing and seeing, for example, asking ourselves, do we feel stuck? Do we feel in a rut? Do we feel that there's something missing in our lives? Okay? There's the old saying that you do something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And that's an old saying. And, some people say that it's just, a bunch of hot air. But there's some truth to it, right? Those people that are doing something they love don't feel like they're working. And that may be because that's what God has set for you to do. When we're confused or frustrated with our work and with our life, that may be a sign that that's not what God wants us to do. Those are signs from God telling us, hey, I'm sending you signals because this is not what I intend for you. This is why it's confusing. Some of us constantly seek or even need validation from others, right? And this is yet another sign, right? If you are needing somebody else to validate your life, then you are probably not on God's path that's set up for you, because you will never be able to be happy by trying to validate or trying to live up to what others think you should be doing and what other standards, what others are creating as standards for you. The only validation that you should seek is God's validation in living the purpose that is designed for you and for you only. So here's a tip to get you going in the right direction. I don't have all the answers. In fact, I don't have many answers, but um, one answer that I could provide, or perhaps one recommendation, is for me personally, what I try to share with my students and with anybody is that the way that I try to live my purpose is that I focus on the things that add value to my life. and I avoid those things that detract value to my life. I take it from my leadership courses and my leadership training, and uh, the idea that leaders inspire, leaders motivate, leaders promote positive change. They transform individuals. And so, from this leadership perspective, I invite you to think about those things that add value and do more of them. And those things that do not add value, to stay away from them and completely avoid them. For example, limit the time spent on social media to 1 hour. Okay, for those that like social media. Social media can be very beneficial and enjoyable, but at the same time, it can be a waste of time, and it can generate and promote very negative feelings, and even set you on a bad path, right? And so you, by limiting yourself to that, you are going to allow yourself to be engaged in other activities that are going to be much more fruitful and that are going to reap greater rewards in your life. Of course, pray for guidance and wisdom. Absolutely. Prayer is necessary for the path to open up before us and tell us where exactly we need to go. And last but not least, above all things, trust God. Trust God and trust that His will and His wisdom is infinite and it's perfect. And if we place our lives and our trust in Him, we are going to eventually find the right path. The path that is set out before us, that is the right one to take, and where we are going to be able to fulfill our mission in life. So, thank you very much for listening and for your time. Please feel free to share your thoughts or ask me a question. You may do so by leaving me a question in the Contact the Instructor or Contact the Instructor Dr. T link, or you can also send me an email, and I'd be very more than happy to respond as soon as I can. As always, take care and God bless. Thank you very much.